Alright guys, back with another update on the VR5. So I've put it into this E36 test bench, which is basically just a cut up E36 on some caster wheels. And the reason for doing that is I just needed to get the orientation of the gearbox relative to the engine and the engine mounts marked up, which I've done now. So what I'm just going to do is put the camera down for 1 sec and take the bonnet off. Right, so what we have is the engine block, the VW OEM adapter plate which comes on the Passat VR5s, and then this section here is the bit I cut off the Passat gearbox, and then right at the back here you have the BMW ZF gearbox, which just had the front section of it cut off. So kind of 4 bits all in total: block, adapter, front of Passat gearbox, rear of BMW gearbox. So obviously now it's all mounted up on the engine mount, so I've got the position of that gearbox relative to that part of the Passat bell housing. So I just need to mark them together, so when I take it all out I know the correct position to weld that to that. And I guess that's about it in terms of the reason why it's in there. Obviously this is a let me get this right, it's a 20 valve, so this has VVT. The engine that's actually going to go in there is a 10 valve, which is quite simple. It's got cable throttle, no VVT, and I guess point to note is the 20 valve engines, the heads sit further back towards the bulkhead. I've got a bit more room with a 10 valve. The 20 valves go back a bit further because of the VVT and stuff. Hence we've had to massage the bulkhead a bit to get this one in. But with the 10 valve it's no drama. What else? Obviously you can see how far back it sits in terms of the radiator sits here, and that's all space. Engine at the back. I don't know if there's anything to note particularly. The actual engine I'm using is down here on the floor. These are the two 12 valve VR6s which are going in the Corrado, and this is a 10 valve VR5 which is destined for the compact to begin with, and we'll see what happens from there. But obviously once it's in the compact and I've figured everything out, I can then put a VR6 into the coupe, because everything else should be the same, with a few tweaks to mounts and stuff, but fundamentally the same. But what I've been doing with this one is I've obviously taken the head off, put a decompression plate in, cleaned all the bores and cylinder crowns. The decompression plate, I forgot the ratio now, I think it might be 8.5, but I'll double check. Then we've got a cut down VR6 manifold with a VR5 fuel rail. We've got a 24 valve alternator bracket, 24 valve alternator. The power steering pump in its OEM location won't clear the subframe. I'm going to have to cut the subframe a little bit to make a bit of clearance for the oil pump, but only a little bit of a section in the middle. But where the factory power steering pump sits, it'll be really close as a spinning assembly to that. So I'm going to move the power steering pump further up, which is where the AC compressor used to be. So just directly underneath the alternator. So we'll literally just, actually the lights are really crap here, give me a second. That's better. So yeah, the power steering pump, when you sit down here, I'm going to put it just above here where the AC compressor used to go, so that will clear the subframe. This is the inlet manifold I'm going to be using. Does need some work, but it will obviously be welded on like so. That's actually a VR6 kind of ATP style turbo manifold. I was contemplating using that, slicing off the end cylinder like I've done with the inlet manifold, but I think the turbo is going to stick way too far out, so that I don't think that's an option. But I've got a load of bits of weldels and flanges and stuff, so I've got a flange, wastegate flange and stuff, and loads of bits of weldel, so I'll make something out of that to fit, and that will allow me to position the turbo exactly where I want it, which is kind of in the middle here, but as close to the head as possible to give me as much room as it is possible. So ideally, turbo will kind of sit about here, and then the downpipe can just go straight down there. I've got enough room between the steering UJ and the side of the block to get a 3-inch downpipe. I can't go that way because the starter motor is going to sit right in there, so literally the only place I can go down is just there. But yeah, that's it. So what I'm going to do now is literally just take the engine and box out after I've marked up that orientation, start to clean up the surfaces ready for welding, then practice welding, because as I've mentioned in previous videos I haven't TIG welded before, so this will be a bit of a learning curve for me, but it's as good a place as any to start. So once that's out and welded up, that'll be kind of it for that bit. But whilst I'm doing that, because I think it's going to take me a while to figure out how to TIG, I'm going to put I've got a spare 10 valve down there. I'm going to put that back in here so I can start to fab up the exhaust manifold, inlet manifold, the engine mount, because this is the current one, and the issue with this one is it's only ever temporary, but it bolts to where the oil filter housing goes. So I want to have something which is further over this way and kind of comes up and under, so I just need to redo this one. That shouldn't be a biggie. So yeah, that's it, I think, in terms of an update. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Nope, I think that's it. So as always guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you up on the next one. Cheers, bye.